Hi, this is Polly from thefitmumformula.com. Today I'm going to be talking about snacking and what are the best kind of pre-packaged snacks to have to keep your belly full and your blood sugar steady. Now I say pre-packaged snacks because of course we all know that we could spend ages knocking up some homemade bars or bakes, we could get fresh fruit, we could open a packet of nuts, but sometimes you're on the go, you can't be bothered, you just want something tasty and nutritious. So what can you grab that's in a bag? Now let's be honest, most packaged snacks that come in a pack, wrapped up, are individually wrapped, aren't the healthiest of foods. They're things like crisps, chocolate bars, sugary cereal bars, and yeah, they're so convenient and they're tasty, and that's why people often turn to them. But the problem with these foods is they're low in nutritional density, so they don't offer a lot in the way of vitamins and minerals and benefits. They're often high in sugar and carbohydrates and sometimes unhealthy fats like trans fats, which are not good for us, don't do any good for our health, and don't keep our energy levels balanced at all, and they don't often fill us up. A packet of crisps won't keep you full for very long at all. So what are some things that you can have that you can just grab on the go to have when you need a snack? Well, also you need to establish whether you definitely do need a snack, because not everybody has to snack. At the end of the day, your weight will be determined by your energy balance, whether you're consuming more or less calories than you're burning. And if you want to lose weight, it has to be less. Now, whether you achieve that calorie deficit through 3 larger meals a day, 2 much larger meals a day, or even just grazing throughout the entire day, it really doesn't matter. What that comes down to is personal preference, what you like to do, what you feel best on, and what fits your lifestyle. So if you are a snacker, and personally I like an afternoon snack, in the morning I tend to have something lighter because there's a shorter gap between breakfast and lunch than there is between lunch and my evening meal. So I tend to have, if I have anything at all, it'll be some fruit or maybe some raw vegetable sticks, something like that. But in the afternoon, I do like something sort of somewhere between 3 and 5 o'clock, time me over to an evening meal, because I tend to eat personally later once the kids are in bed. So I've got a little list here of my favourite things, and you'll notice a common theme here if you know about the composition of foods, and that all of them involve 2 things. They all involve protein and fibre. Fibre coming from either fruit or vegetables for the most part. Now the reason I choose those things is because protein, it fills you up more than any other macronutrient, and it helps support muscle mass, and muscle is what you need if you want to look toned, and it helps keep your energy a lot more steady than sugar and high carbohydrate, low protein foods. There's also some fat in there as well, because fat is very neutral when it comes to blood sugar. It won't give you these peaks and troughs like sugar will. And fat's really good for you. There's nothing wrong with fat. The only problem with it, if you can call it that, is that it's very high calories. So you've just got to watch the portion sizes, otherwise it's quite easy to add a ton of calories onto your meal, especially with things that are quite easy to eat and easy to over portion, things like nut butters. And nuts and seeds, they're quite easy to eat a large portion of calories without it actually looking like a large portion on your plate. So some ideas I've got on my list are hard-boiled eggs. Now that sounds a little bit boring, it sounds more like a main meal, but you can make these in advance. Or I have noticed in coffee shops and places like Boots and supermarkets now doing these little kind of protein pots where there's a little bit of protein, something on some vegetables, so maybe a couple of hard-boiled eggs on some spinach. I've seen these pots around and they're so convenient. They're not quite a sweet treat, but they are a very healthy protein and fibre snack. They're very conveniently portioned up as well. Biltong and jerky, that's like dehydrated meat, and if you've not tried it, just trust me on this, it's a lot tastier than it sounds. It's quite chewy, it's really, really tasty, and of course it's meat, so it's protein, so that goes really well with maybe some chopped peppers or tomatoes or carrot sticks. And often they come in individual packets as well, which are really conveniently portion sized. You can also get vegan jerky, which is sometimes made out of soy, and I've seen fish jerky as well, and that was quite nice. I did try it once. Different, but it worked, it was nice. Okay, mini pots of hummus. The mini ones I love because They all seem to be just about the right amount calorie-wise. Those tiny pots I give them as a whole to my kids as well. But those with some carrot, cucumber, celery sticks are great, perfect for a snack as well. And you can buy those little trio pots in supermarkets. So just one of those with some vegetables is ideal. Edamame beans. Now these are fresh soybeans. So they are high protein and they're quite filling because they're unlike the dehydrated soybeans that you can get. They are fresher, they're chewier, they're often found in the chilled aisles and like in the salad areas of supermarkets. And they're quite tasty to nibble on as well. You can maybe, you know, in keeping with the soy theme, you can splash a bit of soy sauce on top of them, and they're nicely eaten like with a fork, a bit like a salad, like a mini salad. You can also get dried ones as well that you can snack on, and I've even seen things like barbecue flavored ones and chocolate flavored ones and vanilla flavored ones and spicy ones and all sorts. So again, because they're dehydrated, they will be more calorie dense than the fresh ones, so you can watch the portion size. But if you're buying it from a packet, it probably say nutritional details on the back of the packet. And I would say for an afternoon snack, me personally, somewhere between 100 and 200 calories plus some fruit and vegetables. So around about average 150 calories ish plus fruit and vegetables. But really your calorie needs and what you need are so individual. If you're having an earlier meal, maybe you'll want a smaller snack. If you're going to have a very late meal, maybe you want a larger one. At the end of the day, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. So don't get worked up on what the exact perfect calories are for a snack is, because it totally depends on your needs at that moment. Okay, onto some sweet things, because I have a ridiculously sweet tooth and I love sweet things, but I also love feeling healthy. So some of my favorite branded products, and I don't have any affiliation to these at the time of making the video. I receive no money for telling you that these brands are good. They're just my personal favorites, the ones that I do buy quite regularly because they're quite handy when I'm out and about, or even if I'm home and I just want something tasty and I can open one at home. So Bounce balls I quite like, Quest protein bars I really like, Pulsin protein bars, that's Pulsin without a G on the end, protein bars, ready-made protein shakes. Sometimes I get these, but I do find the ones that come in a bottle are quite thin, and I really like a thick shake, so I'd be more inclined to make one up at home, or if I was buying one, put it through my blender with some frozen spinach maybe, which you can't taste by the way, or some extra ice or something, because I like them quite thick. Xanthan gum, a tiny bit of xanthan gum is another trick to making your smoothies nice and thick without adding calories. So ready-made protein shakes, again, they're convenient because they're just ready to drink, just open the bottle and drink it. Like all of these products, like all shakes, there's some good ones, some bad ones, some full of junk, some really natural. I'm not here to discuss that today, but on the whole, what I'm saying is you can get protein shakes that are ready to drink, that are very convenient if you want one. What else have we got on my list here? Oh, egg white crisps. There is a brand called Chirps who make crisps out of egg whites. It sounds a bit crazy, but if you think about it, meringues are all crispy and they're made out of egg whites. So I guess you could say that these are made in the same way but without all the sugar. And an odd concept, but trust me, they work. They taste, they've got the texture of sort of quavers, that kind of very light, crunchy thing, rather than potato crisps. And I really, really like them. My family like them, my kids like them, and they are pure protein. And so if you're a fan of crisps rather than sweet things, Chirps are one to look up for definite. I would highly recommend them. They come in a variety of flavors too. Nut butter sachets. Now, as I said, nut butter can be quite easy to overeat because it's very calorie dense, and a tablespoon, and that's a proper tablespoon that's measured, it's about 15 grams, or if you've got one of those, like those baking spoons you use that are exactly the right amount, that's about 100 calories. So you're looking at 1 to 2 tablespoons as a portion. But if you were to weigh out what you would automatically say spread on bread or toast, you'd probably find it was a lot more than that, because it is very easy to overuse. But some brands do nut butter specifically for snacking in individual sachets. I know off the top of my head there's one called Pip and Nut who do them at the time of making this video. There's other brands out there as well. And so if you like, say, apple dipped in peanut butter, but you're at a workplace all day, you don't want to take an entire jar and start measuring it out. If you got a load of these sachets, you could take one in with an apple, and that's just perfectly portioned for you already. And I know now peanut butter and nut butters are getting so trendy. You can get every flavour under the sun as well. You can even get ones with extra added protein now. Peanut butter is already the highest protein of nut butters. Peanuts naturally have more protein than other nuts in, but you can get some with added like whey protein in to bump it up. And I have tried them, and they're quite nice actually. There is a brand called Be Mindful Chia Pudding. Now, if you've ever tried chia pudding, it's basically chia seeds. When you add water to them or liquid, it absorbs them and it turns into sort of a jelly, which is great if you want to make it the night before and have something like that for breakfast. But of course, if you're on the go, then that's not quite so helpful. But Be Mindful do these sachets of the dry mix, then all you've got to do is add liquid. So you could add almond milk or something if you had it to hand, but if not, you can do it with water, and 5 minutes later you've got a little bowl of chia pudding, and they come in all different flavours as well. That's Be Mindful, F-U-E-L. If you forget any of these, or you want me to link them or send you some information, just get in touch, polly@thefitmumformula.com, or comment below and ask me again, and I'll find the links for you for whatever it is you're looking for. And finally on my list, there is a brand who are a little bit more indulgent, because sometimes they use artificial sweeteners, sometimes they use flavourings and things, but when you really do want the closest thing you can get to a chocolatey, indulgent, junky treat, then the brand The Protein Works are pretty good, because they have an enormous range. They have protein chocolate truffles, brownies, pancakes, little crispy chocolate things, bars, you name it, puddings, mug cake mixes, anything you can think of that's chocolatey and indulgent, they've made a protein version of it. They're not as artificial as they sound. They are mostly ingredients that I would use personally in homemade versions of them, things like good quality whey protein or vegan proteins, raising ingredients like you'd put in a cake, natural flavourings, vanilla extract, stuff like that, so oat flour, things like that. So it is on the whole pretty natural ingredients. Don't be put off by the long list of ingredients in some of the products, because sometimes artificial sounding ingredients are actually natural. They just often have an alternative name that sounds like a sort of a chemical, but they are actually a natural ingredient. So again, if you've got any questions about anything from The Protein Works, let me know in the comments below. As I said, not affiliated with any of those, but as for pre-packaged snacks, those are my favourites at the time of making this video. So I know that was a bit of a long one today, but I do like my snacks, as you can see, so that's why I came up with a nice long list there of all the things I tend to rotate, because I've got ADHD when it comes to food, and I get bored very easily. I like to have a nice big variety to choose from, as do you sometimes, I imagine, as well. So I thought this video would be helpful. Please do share it, or comment below, tag somebody below if you think someone else would like to see it. And happy snacking, everyone.